because that the state had actually let this community down by not putting in the police, by not doing up their buildings. So the community ran down and allowed for drugs to overtake this community. So people couldn't live with that anymore. So 1998 a decision was made by the people themselves to have this community put down, and the promise was for maintenance, all those kind of things. The flats went very bad, and then in 1998, after a very long drug problem, people decided that they wanted the flats put down. That was an official survey that was carried out. People wanted houses, front and back gardens on this particular land and community facilities, and we started that process in 1998. It's now 2009, nearly 11 years on. Not one sod has been torn, and this community has been let down 3 times. So 3 times of disappointment. No one could ever understand what that meant for the people. At the moment we're only down to something like 14 families left on this estate. 51 units was built over in Golden Bridge, and another 50 units was built down there, and then people took houses in Ballyfermot, Trimina and different places with letters of comfort to come back. They didn't leave to go away, they just couldn't stay in the conditions. Now there's a policy of relocation. So since McNamara let us down on the 19th of May last year, the policy has been really to relocate people, take them out of their community and really take back the land. Now I want to link that into what Tenants Force did yesterday, because what Tenants Force did was they brought out a document that highlighted the waste of spending. 130 million in Dublin last year was spent on rent allowance. That was by the state, and Dublin City Council matched that, and there was lots of other breaks for the developers. So the people who lost again was the people in this community, O'Devaney and Dominic Street and Crow Villas, Theresa's Gardens, Dolphin's House, all those communities lost. So when you come down to the time that's in it, like for people to take some power, they need to really think about who they're putting into power and about the decisions that get made about their communities, because there's another thing coming on stream for the likes of Tyrone or all those communities that are Dublin City Council in the city. There's going to be a 30 million cut in maintenance, which will mean that there'll be a lot of jobs let go, there'll be caretakers gone. If you haven't paid your rent within 4 weeks or if you owe rent, you're not going to get basic maintenance. That's going to have huge impacts on all the flat complexes throughout the city, because it'll just deteriorate them more. If you have storage problems, well, they probably will deal with that, but people have to think about that, and they have to think about what they're asking people on their door. As a community worker, I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I am saying think about how you use your vote. And what would I say about the councillors? I think the councillors in our areas have to think about the kind of things that will go on this land, whether it should be stadiums or should it be public housing. This is public land. We've already lost so many units, and they're gone forever, and there is a 56,000 waiting list that will probably become invisible now. And what's going to happen to those families? What's going to happen to the 5,000 homeless within Dublin City? So there's a lot of things to be addressed, so we have to think about before we give away the land. As long as we can, we'll fight for the land of St Michael's Estate. Yeah. In terms of St Michael's Estate, O'Devaney Gardens and Dominic Street, like an imposed decision came on these communities of the PPP, which came from the Department of Environment. The Minister Cullen at the time, Minister Gormley is continuing to that process. Fatima Mansions is a great success, and we really support the people down there, but this community has been let down. O'Devaney has been let down, Dominic Street has been let down. Outside of relocation, there are families who want to stay in this area, and what we're doing at the moment is there is 4 acres with the 4 acres over here has part 8, and at the moment we're planning 2 acres of that land, and we're working on the design of those houses, but there is no guarantee of the funding and for those houses to be built, or the community facility over there. So while we're working and doing all the basic work on it, we've no guarantee, and maybe there's a lesson to be learned in relation to, we signed an agreement, and Dublin City Council didn't let us into the room to see the contract, and there is a lesson to be learned there, and Mannix Flynn pointed that out to me today. So they didn't let us into the room, and at the moment we're doing all the work and we still don't have the guarantee of the money. So there's a lesson that we have to ask, but also that we're not going to go away. We're still going to continue to protest, because there are people who want to live and stay on this estate, and they're the ones we have to fight for at the moment. And then the 10 acres comes after that, around what should be on this 10 acres, whether it should be a stadium or whether it should be a quality community where people can live and where we can house those who are most in need.